They say twins share a soul. So what happens when only one of them is buried? In a quiet village at the edge of the Kakamega forest, a child begins speaking in two voices, one for the living and one for the death. This is not just a tale of birth and death. This is the story of a soul that came back, not to haunt, but to finish what was left undone. You are now listening to Bonefire Tales. Let the silence speak. It was the third night of rain when the twins were born. Under a sagging thatched roof, lit only by firelight and storm flashes, Mama Rahima gave her final push, a cry echoing through mud walls and midwife chants. The first baby arrived screaming. A healthy boy, strong and loud. The second was silent, cold. Wrapped quickly in white cloth, no time for tears. Not that night. They buried the second twin before dawn, in a shallow grave beside the banana grove. No name, no drumbeat, just a whisper. He was too quiet for this world, and life moved on. Baraka, the surviving twin, grew fast, too fast. He began speaking early, not babbling, but asking questions, strange ones. Why is my grave so small? Why don't I have a second name? Mama, where is my drum? Rahima would laugh, nervously. The neighbors didn't. They whispered that twins shouldn't be separated at birth, that one foot in the spirit world drags the other down. But Baraka was fine, mostly, until he turned 5. That's when he started answering questions no one asked. He'd stare into corners, talk to himself, laugh like two children sharing a secret. It was the village elder Mzichalo who noticed first. Baraka sat by the riverbank every day, drawing 2 stick figures in the sand, one with eye, one without. The old man asked, "What are you drawing, Mitoto?" Baraka looked up. His voice doubled. "We're drawing our story." "He tells me what to remember." Chalo said nothing, but that night he burned sage, and the next day he called for Rahima. "Did you name the second child?" he asked. "No." He didn't breathe. "But he was born?" "Yes." "Then he knows." At night, Baraka began mumbling in his sleep, but it wasn't the usual child's dream. He whispered names, old names. He sang lullabies Rahima hadn't sung since she was a girl. He mimicked voices from before his time, even his grandmother's voice, who died before he was born. One night, he woke up crying and said, "Mama, I forgot his name again." Rahima's voice shook. "Whose name?" "My brother. The one you didn't finish." "He didn't have a name," Baraka shook his head. "Yes, he did. He told me, but I lost it." "Can you remember it?" "No, but..." He's angry. On Baraka's 6th birthday, Rahima gave him a small cake, sweet soft with 1 candle. He clapped, then asked, "Can we light a second candle for my brother?" "We only need 1, Baraka." He stared at the flame. "Then he'll blow it out in my dreams." That night, he drew something. It wasn't a child's picture, it was a grave. Roughly shaped, stones stacked unevenly, a banana tree beside it. But Rahima saw something else. In the corner of the drawing, a tiny bone, sticking out of the dirt. She hadn't visited the grove in years. It was overgrown now, but the spot was the same, beneath the shade of a crooked banana tree. She stood there, alone, hands trembling. She didn't expect to find anything, but there it was, the edge of a white cloth, curled like a finger, poking through the soil. She fell to her knees. Tears poured, not because of what she saw, but because the drawing had been exact, and Baraka had never been there. They called for Unsettled again. He brought fire, water, herbs. He recited the rites of buried spirits and unfinished names. Then asked Rahima, "Did you name the child?" "No." "Then name him now." She could barely speak. "Juma," she whispered. "He was born on a Friday. Let him be Juma." They wrapped the bones, dug a deeper grave, lit 2 drums beside it, one for Baraka, one for the brother he'd never met and never forgotten. For a few days the village slept peacefully. No whispers, no drawings, no voices. Baraka laughed like a child again. He asked for toys. He played with other boys. Rahima felt for the first time that the nightmare had passed. For the first time that the nightmare had passed, until she found the mirror in his room, cracked. Right down the center, and on the wall, drawn in charcoal, he was buried wrong. That night, Baraka stood at the foot of her bed. He didn't blink. "Mama." "Yes, my son. Juma is gone." "Yes," she whispered. "He's resting now." Baraka shook his head. His voice dropped, lower, heavier. "No, he left me here." Rahima sat up, heart pounding. "What do you mean?" "I'm not Baraka." He pointed to the cracked mirror. "That's where he left me." In the weeks that followed, Baraka began to change. He no longer answered to his name. He avoided sunlight. He barely ate. He stared at walls and smiled at nothing. He drew things, eyes, hundreds of them, on paper, on walls, on his own arms. When Rahima tried to wash them off, he screamed. They called for Amzi Chalo one last time. The old man sat with Baraka for over an hour. No chants, no drums, just silence. When he finally stepped out, he looked years older. His hands shook. "That is not your son," he said. Rahima's knees buckled. "Then who is he?" "The one you didn't bury right, and the one you tried to raise. They've switched." That night, Rahima decided to leave. She packed only what she could carry. Baraka, or Juma, sat on the floor, watching her. "Mama," he said calmly, "why are you scared?" "I'm not," she lied. "You should be." They slept in the same bed, back to back, like they used to when he was little. She tried to close her eyes, tried to believe it would pass, that it was grief, trauma, anything explainable. Then, softly, "Mama? Yes? I remember my name now. That's good, Baraka." "No, I'm Juma." She turned to look at him, but he was gone. The next morning, the bed was cold. She searched the house, the grove, the village. No one had seen him. She walked for hours, calling 2 names. Only the wind answered. And then, from the banana grove, she heard 2 voices, humming, one high, one low, the same lullaby from long ago. Some say she moved away. Others say she went mad. But those who live near the grove, they say the ground hums on certain nights. And if you stand beneath the crooked banana tree, you'll hear it too. 2 children, one lost, one found, neither willing to let go. They say twins share a soul, but no one asks what happens when a soul is buried twice. In a village at the edge of Kakamega forest, they whisper of a boy who walks the edge of mirrors, a boy who was born and born again. Some nights, you'll hear 2 voices humming in the trees, one high, one low. If you do, don't look back. Bonefire Tales. The dead don't always stay dead.